Good morning and welcome to my garden. Today I'm very excited to be cleaning up my second contour on the south. This bed has not had much attention since it was established. So originally it was going to be my banana bed. I dug many holes around the back to plant bananas, but I only ever acquired 4 bananas. And I dug holes along here and I was going to have a full row of bananas. Well, that hasn't happened yet. So I mulched along the back with grass clippings to try and keep some of the weeds out of the garden. My arrowroot and lemongrass on the end has continued to grow strugglingly. Since we've had the shed pad prepared here, I have to create a walkway here, just like I did over that side. So we need to get control of this chop and drop. We need to create a path. This is a cover crop that was planted here for fertility and to outcompete the grass. I have asparagus planted every couple of metres. It's doing okay under the chop and drop, under the cover crop. I think I'm a bit chop and drop obsessed. I've also got a volunteer. We have a pumpkin growing. I didn't know they were supposed to grow at this time of year. Thought they were warm season. I am grateful. Watermelon that I grew as an experiment. The cover crop has well and truly done its job of attracting the king parrots with the sunflowers. The bees have loved the crotalaria. This legume will have put lots of nitrogen into the soil. But now it's time. The arrowroot is quite messy. It's falling over. It's going to start snapping. Some of the branches are dying off. You can see it's flowering. When you chop and drop stuff all the time, you don't get to see the flowers. That's my job this morning. Just looking at this a bit more closely, you can see that one of these arrowroot branches have fallen over, and that one there looks like it's snapped too. It's not good for the plant to be left to grow unchecked. So it's interesting. I know a few people that have a problem with pruning plants. I believe this is an example of when a plant will really benefit from a good prune. So it seems that I have a developing cold this morning and my throat is sore and my voice is failing. So I will do my best at being clear. So learning about Syntropics, the idea is that you prune plants so that they can regrow, so that they can put more nutrients into the soil and so that they can grow more biomass so you can chop it again. So the question becomes, would you always prune things rather than pull things out? 2 points on that. Firstly, this banana asparagus bed, I have recently learnt that rhubarb gets along really well with asparagus, and that excites me because I love rhubarb. So I'm wanting to clear this bed out to put rhubarb plants between the asparagus plants. The asparagus are every 2 metres and that'd be the perfect spacing for rhubarb to fit between. So I am wanting to clear the bed, so yes, it needs to come out. Secondly, the idea of cutting it also leaves the roots in the ground for the roots to decompose and become part of the biomass under the ground. As I've been pulling these out, I've become aware of the length of the roots. You'd think something that grows 2 metres, 2.5 metres tall would have bigger roots than this. It occurs to me that I'm actually leaving a lot of the root biomass in the ground. Maybe by pulling them up, I'm reducing some of the possibility. But then again, it's all going to go straight back on the garden as chop and drop along the back here. So I'm not throwing it out. Maybe it'd be ideal to leave it there, but in this case, trying to clean up the bed for more planting, I have chosen to pull it out. When I first planted the cover crop here on contour 2, my intention was that the cover crop would protect the ground, keep it sheltered, but it would also outcompete the grass. I was unsure whether it would do that. You can see there are patches where there is grass, but this is where there was less cover crop. You can see where the cover crop was thicker, the grass is dead. And so it seems it has outcompeted it. And I would suspect that if I was to plant another crop over this quickly and keep it covered, then this grass wouldn't come back. One of the things I really love about gardening is that it's all an experiment. It's all a learning journey. And I can try things, and as long as I observe and learn from my observations, it's all good. I had some watermelon seeds and the packet said it could be planted in January, which I thought was a little bit late because isn't watermelon a warm season plant? But I had a garden bed and I had nothing else in mind for that garden bed right then. So I planted some watermelon seeds. It is now June, coming into winter, and my watermelon plant has fruit on it. They've got a lot of growing to go. With the protection of the plants above it, perhaps the vine will have a chance to avoid being frosted, which I assume is the biggest problem with growing it in winter. Here's another fruit at the back here. So they're just tiny at this stage, but what an adventure. All this possibility, all this learning. There's so much to try and to discover, and I just love it. Well, it's my first day back outside working in the garden since COVID hit again, and I'm exhausted. But I have finished cleaning up my second contour, my banana bed and asparagus, and it looks pretty vacant, pretty naked. So the cover crop has done a decent job of outcompeting the grass. So this cover crop was put on this garden when it was first dug. This is its first time completely removed from the bed. Of course, all the cover crop went along the back of the bed as chop and drop. The asparagus did okay, buried under the cover crop. It looks like it's suffering a bit now that it's exposed to light. I've recently learned that rhubarb makes a really good companion for asparagus. So between each asparagus plant, I intend to put rhubarb. They're both long-lived perennial plants, so I won't have to dig this garden up again once I get them in here. They both also like a lot of manure. So once I get my energy back, I will get a trailer load of horse manure and put on this bed, so that will help the asparagus and the rhubarb. The watermelon plant that was planted as an experiment is doing well. In fact, it's got a number of watermelons on it that are about 1 inch long. So we'll see if that turns into anything. Got about 4 pumpkins on this vine too. I thought it was the wrong season for pumpkins, but pumpkin vine has pumpkins on it. They're about the size of a bread and butter plate at the moment. Probably only weigh 1 kilo, 1.5 kilos. My bananas are doing okay too. So that's all cleaned up now.